This is Rod Kashner talking to you from the family farm on Rude Road in Osneek, Michigan. It is the Kindt Family Farm, a centennial farm. My mother, Leona Kashner, maiden name was Kindt. Me and my cousins, we always had this thought about getting the history of our family down in video as we're doing today. We all got little tidbits, what we know, what we hear, the stories, but there's a lot of stuff we didn't know, and we thought this would be pretty cool to be able to do a video about what life was like on the family farm. So today, we're gonna do that. We're hoping that maybe someday, generation 4, 5, or 6, whatever, looks at this, and who knows what the technology will be, but if you want to add on to it, feel free. So, but this is the first take, and let's go on inside and meet my aunts and uncles.
I think before we start, a great way to start, it's Rod's birthday today, so I think your happy birthday song would be a perfect place to start.
All right.
Okay, here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ron. Happy birthday to you and many more.
What's the next stanza of that?
Well, I hope that we can have that be
What's that?
Kimberly's,
The next stanza.
daughter's birthday song too.
The next dance?
The next stanza.
I don't know if there is
How
one.
old are
There
you?
is.
Oh, no, we don't have any more of that.
It's bad.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, get plastered, you.
Oh, no,
Bad
no,
boy.
Was that part of the birthday song?
I never
That's
knew
all right.
that one.
I didn't either.
We didn't
Oh.
say this is going to be G-rated.
So,
Okay.
moving along.
So tell us a little bit about what started this. Who started the farm? Who came here first? A little bit of that early history, the earliest history.
The early history, Herman and Matilda Kindt bought 160 acres. But then at that time, 80 acres was enough, so they sold the south 80 to Herman Rude. Then there was a difficulty about the line, property line. Herman built the barn on this side of the fence. So when they finally had it surveyed, they had to tear the barn down and move it back where the barn is over there now. And he didn't have a set payment. The old card is up in the trunk. He paid $1, $20, 50 cents. It's all written down on a card up there in the trunk until he finally paid for it. I don't know, a couple of $100 or something like that, a month or two.
Isn't that
So that's how that property here, and it was all woods then.
Modern day version of a land contract, eh?
Probably, yeah, that would be. Yeah.
Who built the house and the barns?
Well, there was older buildings here. There was an old barn sitting where I got that wood pile. The house is where the granary was. That was the first two buildings. And Grandma Kindt built this house, or had it built. Part of it was built in 1906 and the other part in 1907.
That's your grandpa? Your grandma and grandpa built this?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was Ralph and Met that had built the...
Nope.
Okay.
They were newcomers.
Yeah.
They were too young then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how this house got to be.
Talk a little bit about your mom and dad, how they met.
Well, they can talk too besides me.
Sure. Absolutely.
I wasn't here, so I don't know how they met, you know.
Where did
He met
Grandpa
her
and
somewhere.
Grandma meet?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
I have no
He
idea.
wasn't here either.
Oh, you weren't here.
Uh,
I read that there and
I have no idea how they met.
pardon me?
Say, I have no idea how Ma and Pa met.
Do you know when they got married?
1917. In
There's-
June.
there's a picture somewhere.
It's in the old Bible there.
Of their wedding?
Of their wedding picture.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have
we
one
got
at
the
home
wedding
there
one.
too, you know. They looked
Well-
pretty doggone snazzy for a couple of people at that time.
So
Yeah.
she met him though before he started doing the lumbering, right? Or before he started going up to.
Well,
No, that he probably was up there, but somehow or other they got together, and then that's when he wrote
Okay.
his love letters.
he was in Rogers City then, wasn't he?
There are different camps up there.
Yeah,
They went by
yeah.
numbers, and camp
I'll tell you
8,
what,
camp 7.
You really have to be in love to walk from Rogers City to Alpena.
I don't think they done that. They rode the train.
Well, somebody told me that he walked from,
No,
because I thought,
History.
I know that walking business. That was Uncle Irvin, Uncle Henry, and Uncle Bill.
oh,
That's when Uncle Bill said, "The hell with this lumbering." That's when he went to Flint, I guess, to work down
Yeah.
there. He wasn't going out in the goddamn woods.
No more.
well, I can understand it.
How long were they married before the first child was born?
Probably 2 weeks. No, I don't know.
Oh, they were married in 17, and Irv come around in 1920.
Yeah.
3 years.
So who, talk about that, the children, in what order did they come in?
One right after the other.
Every 2 years, right?
Pretty much.
Soon as one got off of the milk, that's when she got pregnant again.
Yeah. There's,
So what was the order though?
Hmm?
What was there? That was Irv. Who was after Irv? Adeline?
Adeline,
Irv, Adeline,
Leona, Florence,
Florence.
Arnold, Walt, Hilda, me, and you.
Yeah. Best for the last.
So you're the baby of the family too. Then.
Yep.
And when you were born,
Here's the baby.
I'm the
Grandma
baby.
Golke was here, and she walked in the house and looked in the bedroom, and she said, "Is Shun here?" There you were laying between her legs. You were already born,
I guess that's where I come from.
and you damn near died.
Yes.
Oh wow, really?
Oh, really?
Why?
Yep.
Hmm?
He was a blue baby.
Oh, you were a blue baby.
My lungs weren't developed. They're still not developed.
So what did they do?
Took me by my hind legs and shook the hell out of me until they got the mucus out of my lungs finally.
Jesus.
Was
Yeah.
Mrs. Witt your
No, Mrs. Golke.
Golke?
Was she like the midwife or whatever then, or?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Okay.
Mrs. Witt was.
That's mine,
his.
yeah.
I know that she delivered you. What was
Yeah.
her first name?
Mrs. Witt.
I knew you were gonna say that.
There we go.
Okay.
It wasn't
were
Ella,
all
right?
born right
It
here
wasn't
on-
Ella.
No,
that?
no.
You
One
were all
back.
born right here on the farm.
Right in there where the stairway is. That's room. That was a bedroom there at that time.
Was there ever a time when you all lived here? Or by
Oh.
the time the youngest was born, was there somebody gone
I-
already?
I guess we all lived here at one
Yeah.
time. I don't know. It was stacked pretty high.
The whole 9 of us sat right here at the dinner table on the bench.
Had,
I
had
remember
That
that.
had a bench in the back, yeah.
Jesus.
I sat
a lot
next.
of food.
I sat next to Pa. Because every time I spilled something, he'd whack me on the wrong side of the head. He never gave me a trimming, but he sure hit me on the head a lot of times.
That explains a lot of things.
You know, the strange thing is, he never gave me a trimming either.
No,
You ever get a licking?
No.
Pardon me?
You ever get a trimming?
yep,
Lots of them.
Well,
Lots of them.
yeah.
Were you the
I
bad boy in
I
the
got
family?
blamed for
well, yes.
tramping these carrots down, and I didn't do it. Hilda did it.
To hell too. You and Walt had a handful and I had a handful, and you all run like hell, and you really cornered yourself because you run into the smokehouse. I was running behind you and I couldn't keep up, and Pa got by me and he had you both in there, and he whaled the hell out of it, but he didn't hit me though.
Oh my.
Good times.
Oh, gosh.
So anyway,
So did you get a spanking, or
pardon me,
did you get a spanking,
I got lots of them.
or was it a belt,
With
or
a
how did
stick
you do that?
and with a whip and with a branch.
And a leather strap.
I got them all.
Used to hang on the horn.
Mm.
Yep.
I only remember one actually that I got, well, from Grandpa Gerke, we got that one.
Yeah, we got it tuned up that time.
Yeah,
all right.
boy.
What did you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Knocked down a bunch of swallow nests.
we were, Dick Kindt and Louie and me were probably too young to do any work with the thrashing, except probably shovel grain, huh?
No, they were baling hay then.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, and they were
Anyway.
stacking it on the other side, and them
We,
stones was hitting.
These swallows that build their mud nests up under the eaves, you know, and somebody came up with a bright idea to throw stones at them. And we had a great time doing it, but Grandpa Gerke caught us in the act. And he was a pretty strict guy, and we got a tuning up that day. Woo!
You learned how that was
We
something you shouldn't do.
didn't do it again, I'll say that. Anyway, moving
That
along.
was your lesson in conservation.
Well, yeah, I got another story to tell about this being disobedient, but I'll wait.
What's that?
Well, remember Boyd came
think we're
over
gonna hear.
and we Boyd and I were supposed to get the horses that day.
Okay, I know what you're
And we
gonna
got
say.
the high, we had this high old metal wheeled wagon. And Pa must have been working someplace. I don't remember how that worked, but Ma and you and Boyd and I were gonna haul hay. Well, I can tell you that the devil is at work, no matter how you look at it, because when Boyd and I went back toward the swamp here to get the horses, he's telling me all this stuff about, oh, we go to Worth Bridge and we'll get some bass that big, you know. I didn't have a clue at what was going on, and I didn't have any fishing equipment or anything at all. But he talked me into we walked from here to Worth Bridge, which you probably don't know where it is, but it's a long walk. And we got there, and he had some old string of some kind and tried to catch all these big bass, never got a one. So we turned around and took off for home, and that's a long walk
Is that over by,
by the
The
golf
golf
course there.
course,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And we walked back, and there was a little store on the corner, Foster's store, and he had 2 pennies. And we went in and he bought 2 pieces of bubble gum, you know how they used to be, those little round. And boy, we thought we were in high shape. We walked down Precor Road, and we got down in right up to where the swamp is, and one of the wildest thunderstorms you ever saw in your life came along. I mean, you couldn't see, and it was just hammering and raining. And we came back up to Spruce Road, and in the ditch, this is no kidding now, I'm not BSing, there was a piece of bamboo pole about that long, probably a little longer, I don't know. But you know how the sections are?
Yeah.
It was lying in the ditch, and boy, I thought, I saw that, I thought, whoa, this is really great. So I took it, I was gonna bring it home. And we got to Townsend's, and there was an apple tree, and on this apple tree was one transparent apple, the rest were all gone. And Boyd's telling me, now you take this home and your mom is really gonna be pleased. So, and he dropped off, and I came home, all bedraggled just before supper, and Ma came out. And she says, hi, I don't know what she said, but where you been? And she was friendly. until I got close to her. And then she took this bamboo pole
Oh, yeah.
and she gave it to me good. And at every section it broke, and all she had was this little part in her hand. And she gave it to me good. The only time I ever got it. I'll get in the house and eat. She took the apple, and wow, I was bawling my head off. But I really deserved it. You know, I know it. It was,
What happened to the horses? I thought you were supposed to be getting the horses.
I don't know. I guess
They were supposed
he probably went and got it. Find out. I don't know. I don't remember that part. All I remember is the licking and the stupidity, the whole thing. I don't even know if they got the hay in that.
I don't recall.
The only reason I remember it is because of the licking I got, and I had it coming. That's
Was there a biggest troublemaker of your siblings?
5 of them.
Who got in trouble the most? 5 of them.
Yep.
All the boys.
Who were they?
Well,
Yes.
Hilda, Leona, Florence, Adeline, and Arnie.
Why Arnie?
I don't know. He just had to have it.
He's wondering what he's saying about him.
Yeah.
He said you got in the most trouble.
Who was in the most trouble?
He said you.
No, I
You
don't
and your
think so.
sisters.
No, I was the middle guy. I didn't get in trouble.
Oh,
I got blamed for a lot of it.
no.
I recall I was supposed to feed the calves out of a pail. So I'm sitting down on the old road here, and I told Walt, take care of the calves. It's your turn. So he says no. So he ran back at the house here, and I picked up a stone about that big, and I pitched it, and fortunately, I almost missed, but I hit him. And if I'd have been an inch higher, I'd have killed him. I hit him right here on the cheek, and down he went. Knocked him out. And boy, I felt like a, you know what. I went and picked him up, and
Oh, I missed that one.
that's as close as I came to killing somebody.
Did
You were
you?
spunky.
Huh. Well, there's a lot of rocks around here. So you gotta do something with them, I guess, eh?
Yeah.
No, did Grandpa Kent work in the lumber camps only before you got married?
Yep.
Or did, okay, and after that he was a stonemason?
He went out to Berlinski's for a few winters there. Remember?
Oh, that was later on.
Yeah.
Oh, he worked all over the place. Originally, he started out, he was just a youngster then, when he went out to work in the lumber cabs. When he worked these other places, the timber was all gone. Then he got in the stonemason business. He learned that from Bill Bugg, I think. It's,
Yeah. He
Fernie
always,
was telling me that when
he
they
always
built the
talked
barn there. Bill Bugg was engineering that. Well, Pa was there working too and learning the trade, I guess, at that time. And well, Bill, he'd never get there till noon because Fernie says he was out whoring around with women and had a hangover and he didn't ever get there till noon. So Pa was doing the work by himself before.
And then he also farmed at the same time?
Yeah,
And you guys probably did a lot of that
that
stuff.
was the original. These other things were side jobs.
Okay.
What did you farm?
When he farmed, whenever he bought the farm,
But
Cleared
what
all
did-
the
what
land
did you
here.
farm?
What kind of
What
grades and
kind
stuff?
of, what kind of crops?
Hmm?
What kind of crops she means, or what did,
oh, crops started out around the stumps. They used to raise peas and some other just general crops. It wasn't that much. Peas had a good price on them, and you get $10 a hundred, and that was big bucks. But then the aphids got into them, and that was the end of the peas.
But you could plant them around the stumps?
Hmm?
You planted them around the
Yep.
stumps in the fields then?
Up right around where them oaks are now. I used to go around the oaks weren't there then.
Right.
Didn't have the stumps out and just arrowed around the stumps.
I remember hearing a story one time that Grandma was out picking potatoes and went into labor and came in and had a baby and went back out and picked potatoes.
Well, I don't think that ever happened. That was a story. I don't think that had any backing.
There's a question here. How many stone houses did Grandpa Kindt build? Do you
Oh,
have
boy.
any idea?
Oh my
No.
God.
The church, right?
Well, worked on,
yeah.
not
the
by
church,
himself.
okay.
Yeah. No, I have no clue.
The last house he built was the one for Cluley up on
Yep.
65.
Yeah.
Did he build Szymanski's house?
No.
No.
I don't know who did that.
No.
Page, probably.
I just
Adolf.
heard you built Uncle Abel's house.
I don't know. Maybe he did.
I
What?
think you told me that.
Abel's house.
No, he didn't.
Did
No.
you build that one?
Nope.
No? I thought you told me you did.
No.
My Uncle Abel, no?
Hmm?
Not my Uncle Abel's house you didn't build?
No.
No? Okay.
How often did you go to town and how did you get there?
Usually once a week
If we're lucky
on
or
Saturday.
unlucky.
Took the cream down. Got a few groceries.
And sold butter house to house.
Yeah. Occasionally
Oh,
took a
yeah?
couple of old chickens down and sold them to Donnacusky, had that grocery store on First Avenue. He had a chicken pen on the back over there and had a bag of chickens and old fat hens and he'd buy them and throw them in there and he got around to butcher and he'd butcher them back there.
How did you get to town?
Hmm?
How did you get to town?
A car.
Car.
A car? Okay.
An old Nash.
Oh.
Wooden spoke one.
Yep.
Had to crank the bugger to start it. Didn't have a gas gauge. Every time you wanted to check gas, you had to put a stick in the tank to see how much gas was in it.
Wow.
Did you ever run out?
I don't know.
Nash, never heard of that one.
Yeah.
How did you all fit in the car?
When you're little, you can pack a whole bunch of people in there.
Good call, car.
And it had a grab bar in the back seat you could hold on.
I was telling Sandra about Rudy's next door here. They had that old Model T, and
Yep.
and you'd be outside and you could, and the thing was just a square old box with spoke wheels. And I don't know what the transmission was, but
It was an automatic. That was one of the first automatic. They called them bands. And
yeah,
there was a
okay.
couple of levers on the floor that you stepped on to shift it.
You could hear them coming up here just well, that was after the road was built, but before that I don't know where they must have gone the other way or what.
Yeah, they went the
Yeah,
other way.
yeah.
Occasionally they came through.
Yeah, but you could hear that old car coming, and old Chris always had a pipe in his mouth. It had a stem about that long, and he's driving, and then Mrs. Rude's riding along, and the whole back end of the car was full of all these little Rudes. They're all looking, and he'd go by and go to town. A few hours later, here they'd all come back.
Oh, when they came back, though, they all had to jump out and push like hell because the vans were slipping to get it up over the hill.
Yeah.
Got on when we went to Joe's store to come back and I zipped her up to 20. Hold her down. He says, God damn it, you got to speed right away. Come down to the corner over here and I had to shift her down to second gear. I got pretty close to her. I had to put it down to low gear and gosh, you could walk faster than that to get around the corner. I had to gear all the way back up to high again. But he taught me how to drive and drink though. When I got older, I drive and they get coming down the road, want a beer? Yep, I'll have a beer. So I drank a beer coming down the road. Couldn't hardly see over the steering wheel.
How old were you when you did
I
that?
don't know, must have been 12, 13 or something. I wasn't very old.
Ay, ay, ay.
And he always drove on the wrong side of the road. Going that way, he drive on the wrong side because the other side was smoother. And coming back, he drove on the other side. He said, it was smoother. Traffic coming out of Whipper Cross and get the hell out of the road so the car could get by.
This is your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that,
Oh, boy.
Tell us that story you said the other night when you were driving with Aunt Florence and you got in the accident. Was it Aunt
Oh,
Florence?
that was Hilda.
Oh, Hilda.
Hilda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Don got in an accident, hit the bus and tumbled her over.
Holy smokes.
Smashed it.
I'll tell you what, I can tell you about it because I was riding in the bus.
He got to see it.
I got to see the whole thing. I was sitting on that side of the bus, and it was early spring, and there's a lot more snow then than there is now, you know, and they had side winged the snow back up, and the middle of the road was gravel, but then around the edge there was water and stuff, and he had the habit of we'd come from high school and he was in high school and I was in grade school probably. I don't remember how that worked, but I'm sitting in the back and he and Hilda are coming from school and they're traveling right behind the bus, and we stopped to drop Aaron off.
But he wasn't on. That's what screwed me up.
But we stopped anyway. and we took off. Well, then he had her in low gear and he took off and he was going to pass us. And well, when he passed with all this water and mud on the side where the snowbank was, it kind of sucked him into the snowbank. So he wheeled it to get out, and he wheeled it all right, and it came out great, but it hit the side of the bus. And then it bounced back, and all this snow was hard, you know, and it went back to the snowbank. I watched the whole process. and he hit the snowbank, and the car went right over,
Head over heels?
yeah, head over heels, and landed kind of on the side. And then it slid down the snowbank and it's lying on its side. Harold stops the bus and I jump out and run back. I thought, well, this is not good. Now I can say this is not going to be good, but I opened the door and looked, and here they both are down by the steering wheel looking up. What's happening? And the windows are broken out of the car. Well, Josephine runs out too, and I hold the door up and she turns the ignition off, and from there, I don't know how we got you out of it. You probably crawled out the
Crawled
window.
out through the front window.
Yeah,
Both of you?
yeah, yeah. They were down on the other side. I thought, whoa. And this guy went to school the next day, but Hilda, she was kind of sore. She didn't make it.
Oh, well, they called the ambulance and hauled her down to the hospital.
Yeah.
Huh.
Cops come out and
Whoops.
interviewed me.
Oh boy.
Corporal Mulligan,
I wonder, did she let you drive after that?
yeah,
Yeah,
after I got the car fixed.
okay.
That car never was the
He,
same.
he interviewed me, had a young cop with him, and the young guy was, he better give him a ticket. And Mulligan, nah, I ain't gonna give him no ticket. What the hell? And the other guy was insisting you should give him a ticket. And he said, nope, I'm not giving him a ticket. Forget it. So I didn't get a ticket.
Was
Didn't
there,
have no money to pay for it anyway. I'd probably have to go to jail.
was there damage to the bus?
No.
What about the
No,
car?
it hit just right in front of the back wheel there,
Back,
so
yeah.
when it hit it, it gave it a good whoop,
Yeah.
flipped it.
Oh, there.
I was only going about 45.
Way above your
45.
20.
The thing that tipped it was hitting the bus, and the bus flipped it.
Yeah. Yep.
So whose car was that? Was that Mom and Dad's or
Hilda's.
Hilda's car? Okay.
It never was the same after that. She let us take it to the Paul Bunyan drive-in,
Yeah.
and it was so dusty in there. Before that, it was nice and tight, but they never could make it tight again. It was just,
Oh, they put a whole new top on it.
is that what
They
it was?
didn't know how the hell to do it. Ford Garage done it.
Amazing.
Yeah. So Hilda, she must have had a pretty good job to have a car then too, eh?
Taught down at
Well, she
Sanborn.
was a teacher.
She was teaching by then,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
He would get off the bus there and
Okay.
drive home with her.
I see. Was she teaching at school where
Sanborn,
Sanborn?
where
Okay.
I taught, and Karen taught.
Moving along.
There's something here about Grandpa's favorite moonshine recipe, not to totally change the subject, but who had Grandpa's favorite moonshine recipe during Prohibition?
I don't know if they had a favorite moonshine recipe. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
Everybody used to make a little bit. Chris Rude made a batch because he sold it. Ori Booballs and Carl made it. They batched theirs down there in that camp in the woods, but they got caught.
Yeah.
The revenues got her and they got thrown in the jug.
Oh, boy.
So,
Carl Brusky and old Rhinos, they got caught too. They got sent to Leavenworth.
Oh
for a
my
couple years.
goodness!
No shit. Jesus.
Wow!
I don't know what happened to the Booballs. They lied so much they probably didn't get nothing happened to them.
Well, I always heard rumor that you guys had to stop on the way home at my Grandpa Kashner's place and get warmed up and maybe pick up a little recipe of some kind. No?
No, I don't think so. Probably somebody did, but nobody from this family.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a quite a fair. They had that thing boiling on the stove, or the hell they didn't even let it have a chance to set and cure. They'd hold a cup on it and catch it right there and sample. By the time they got done boiling, it was all gone. They was all drunk.
Did you make your own beer back then, or
They
did,
made beer too, yeah.
Yeah. Did Grandpa Kindt make his own beer,
I think they made it here.
or yeah?
had a bunch of hops behind the granary. I don't know if that, how that worked out.
Who's Bucky the deer?
I didn't know his name was Bucky. That was that deer that LeMay had.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you called him Bucky or not. He was just an old tame deer.
Yeah. He'd come over. They lived across the bog over here, or on Spruce Road, and he'd come over and see us, and we'd give him a little treat, piece of bread or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
hell, he'd come right in the house if you let him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Didn't you have a bell on him?
Yeah. I don't think so. I don't
What?
remember. A bell. I don't think he had.
Oh yeah, he had a bell on.
He did? I don't
Little
remember.
bell, yeah, on the red ribbon. You used to see him down there in hunting season, tinkle, tinkle, tinkle. We want to shoot a buck. Here comes a little buck with a red ribbon around his neck.
You didn't ever shoot him, did you?
No,
Somebody did.
Really?
no, he didn't get shot. He got hit in the head with a hammer.
Oh, is that what it was?
Seaman done that.
Ah.
Well, because he was so tame, I suppose.
Well,
he
they
came right
come
up
over
to him.
there and old Adolf says, at one time I'll fix him. And Carl says he took a hammer and
No.
skinned them out. They had lens in.
Well,
Dear.
Did you have other pets?
Hmm?
Did you have other pets?
Pets, well, I guess you call cats and dogs were pets till we got
Yeah.
tired of them.
yeah. Yeah. I had old Duke. He was a kind of a nice guy.
Yeah.
But he and I used to wander the woods a lot. But came home from school one day and I asked Ma where Duke was. Well, I know she didn't know what to say, but she said Irv shot him.
Herb shot him.
Yeah. So where is he? He's up there in the Oaks, and Duke always enjoyed, hunting, and Irv took him up there, and he was looking up in the tree and all excited, and instead of shooting up in the tree, Irv shot Duke, did him in.
On purpose?
Yeah,
Just because he wanted to get rid of him, or because
I don't
he
know.
was getting old?
Nobody knows.
Just get rid of them.
he must have had a little bit of the Second War in his blood that day or something, I don't know. But, but I got a good dog too after that, old Jake, yeah, yeah, we had a lot of pets, cats, dogs,
I think Jake died when I was dating you.
yep.
Yeah.
Yep,
So he lasted quite a while because
well, yeah, during service through,
You guys want another beer?
no, no, I'm good.
What were your dating years like?
Oh,
Were the brothers protective of the sisters? Like boys that the sisters would bring home? What was that like?
well,
They didn't bring too many people home. The girls, I
they
mean.
probably didn't want them to be
I doubt
subjected to
The only date that Adeline went on was with Cleo when Herb brought him up here that time.
oh, yeah.
They went out to a movie. Of course, there was more than just Cleo and Adeline. I think Ella Kirshner was with him, maybe Herb too. Foggier than heck in the wintertime. Anyway, it really got Cleo going. He thought that was great. He said, maybe we ought to go have a marshmallow fry outside in the wintertime. Anyway, when he went back, he wrote Adeline a letter. Nice letter, and on the end, he says, "Boy, I feel just like a bluebird in a hornet's nest when I'm near you."
Oh my goodness.
How romantic.
Life doesn't get any better than that.
No. What did Adeline think?
Not that she showed us the letter, so she must have thought it was funny too.
Oh.
I remember, I don't know how I can remember this, but Boots Hartman was here, and the girls were all here, and
Yeah.
Boots was chasing Adeline around, and he cornered her over here in the where it used to be the old gun case there, or whatever it was, and he was trying to give her a kiss, and Adeline was laughing and having a high old time. I don't know if it was a high old time or not, but good Boots was kind of, you know.
He bought a case of Pepsi along on the back of his bike,
Oh my goodness.
tied on.
Oh,
So how did you meet your
Come on in.
spouses?
Hmm?
How did you meet your spouses?
I don't know. Oh, I made a bet, I guess, and I got 3/5 of whiskey and a case of beer out of that deal.
Oh, Jesus. Lord.
I was so proud.
you were.
Hmm?
You worked on that a long time.
Yes, I
Who
did.
did you make the bet with?
Oh, just the friends around the country here.
We're at a party at Dumrose's. They bet him he wouldn't take me home.
And he did?
I guess so.
Well, what the hell, there was profit in that.
I knew she had her lines out for you long before that.
Could be.
I did.
Yeah, I went out with her once before that too. You know.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
No wonder she is the way she is.
She. Well,
Excuse me?
it was like taking out your sister.
Right.
The way she, you know, I knew she had the hots for you, but
She
you
didn't
just,
even know me.
huh?
She didn't even know
The
me.
heck she
I
didn't.
certainly did.
No,
Just
We came-
hearsay.
We,
Just-
we came
well,
over here trick-or-treating when I was 14. I was come over here because I wanted to see you.
hmm.
Oh my
14.
goodness.
Oh yeah, that.
Which would have been how old for you?
14? I must have been about 20.
Whoa.
Way too old.
Way, yeah,
Because I'm 7 years older than she is.
Mm.
okay.
Huh.
Well, we knew each other from grade school,
Yeah.
7th grade, when we went to the Sanborn School, consolidated school, first class, one of the first classes there. And we knew each other from Luther League, because his group from Trinity we'd have hay rides and sledding parties together sometimes, but I didn't ever date him until after I'd finished college, and
Yeah.
he had come back from the service, and
Well, she needed to get her education.
yeah. He wanted an educated woman.
Yeah.
No less,
Yeah,
no less.
It just kind of happened.
No, that's the way that worked.
It
I
was
was,
Hunter's Roundup on her
the
birthday.
dating started about 21,
Nah,
22.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
was 23 when we were married, so
Okay,
21.
Hunter's
Alright.
Roundup, that was a big deal.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was her birthday,
Yeah. oh,
and
yeah.
these guys all went to the Roundup, and I went alone. And she had a little party at the house for her girlfriends, and she came to the Hunter's Roundup.
I was teaching by then. That was my
And
first year of teaching.
I thought, maybe I should ask her to dance. So I did. Well, we knew each other a long time before that, probably from, actually when I rode the bus.
Yeah,
Uh,
in high school.
no, even in grade school.
Grade school.
I remember she had this snowsuit. It was a red with black. Remember that?
Not a suit, it was just a coat.
Well, you had the pants too.
I don't think so.
Oh,
I
what
bought
do you mean?
that.
You didn't have
I
I
know.
bought that coat myself with my strawberry picking money.
Oh, okay.
And I was so proud of it.
Well,
And I
yeah,
wore it for
you look good in it.
probably 2-3 years.
That's what kind of tuned me in.
It was a
Kinda-
herringbone plaid.
There you go. That's what it was. Anyway, I kind of kept that in mind. Well, asked her to dance, and we went out and had a pizza later after, and the next
That was the
weekend,
beginning of the end
next
right
week-
there.
yeah, next weekend we went to dinner, and there we were. The end of that business.
How about Uncle Iron and Aunt Erm?
Yeah.
Uncle
Oh.
Iron, where
How
did
about you dating Irma? Where did you go?
Cedar Grove.
Cedar Grove? Yeah, that's true.
Of course.
Oh, we did too, actually.
We went to Cedar
Everybody
Grove,
went to
yeah.
Cedar Grove. We could dance.
Dancing. You could dance
Yeah.
there, you know.
The
We
Lentz
were-
brothers.
Yeah.
We were looking for places to dance. That's-
Lentz Brothers.
Yeah.
Lentz Brothers, yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
I sang with
Aunt Irma
them.
was a townie.
See, I sang with the Lentz brothers.
You
What?
Well-
sang with them?
Aunt Irma was an Alpina, a townie girl, right? So she would drive all the way out to,
No, he
He'd
would
take
get
her
her.
out
He
there,
was
okay.
dating
I
her.
think she only drove out there once, when you conned me into going out there with you when that whole group of girls went out there on a Sunday night.
You were out there with other girls?
No, I went with him because he didn't want to go alone.
Okay, the information's coming out freely now.
What the heck you guys
There was a
talking
whole
about?
crew of them there.
Nobody danced better than Arnie and Erm. They could do the, what is it,
Polish
the
hop.
Polish
Polish
hop
polka,
better
yes.
than anybody I've seen.
Yeah.
I never could learn it, ever. You two did it quite well.
I don't know, we just danced.
Yeah.
We danced a lot.
But
I
after that, I guess he didn't need no backup. He could handle it alone.
He didn't need this one
You didn't
anyway.
have to take Louie with you out to Cedar Grove because you didn't want to go by yourself.
You guys remember when my dad started showing up around here at all, or did he ever show
Oh yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
had to.
up?
We have pictures of him with your mom
yeah.
He was
dating.
working down in Lansing then.
By that time, before they act, yeah, huh.
Drive up with the old Pontiac.
Yeah.
What was it, a 47?
Oh,
Yeah,
but they met here, right? I mean, they were,
Yeah,
he
you
lived
must-
home
yeah.
when they
Yeah.
met.
Oh, yeah.
Up here someplace, probably at some tavern.
Pardon me?
I said probably at some tavern. That's
Oh,
where
probably.
everybody used to go.
Yeah. They bought that from Bill.
Yeah, you did that car, yeah.
Yeah,
I seen like something about a baseball, something or other, I don't know what it was, or softball, or
baseball, probably,
something.
baseball team.
Baseball, yeah. Picnic or something maybe, I don't know.
Hmm.
You guys are pretty young. When he was, courting her, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, we were,
Yeah, he was only in the 20s.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
Well, it was right after the war, so I don't know, maybe he was 25, 26, I really
Yeah.
couldn't say.
He's like, he seemed like I was about the same age as I was when I got married, he always told me.
So what about the Liederkranz? Was that after they got married that we used to go down there
well, they
and go to
lived
that
down there,
thing?
yeah,
Yeah,
And they lived in Lansing.
Yeah,
yeah.
No Liederkranz, yeah.
yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
What about the barn dances you're talking about, or the house dances or whatever? Was that when you were all dating people, or was it
No,
your
I
parents that did that?
I was too young, it was,
I was just the girls engineered them house parties at that time. Of course, occasionally they had, during the war, they had farewell parties where the guys going to the service.
Service, yeah.
All around the whole country, they'd have one whoever was leaving.
we had,
And when they came home,
I remember being in the basement when they had one of those parties, the yard was full of cars. And, old Reinhold Meggert, the peg leg guy with that
Yeah,
concertina, he played. Man alive, you're down in the basement, it felt like the floor was gonna come through, it was just boom, boom, boom. And the dust, holy man.
So people just dance in the living room? I mean,
Yeah, and that,
in the living room it was in. He
We
sat
used-
by the window and played his accordion or concertina, and he says, "Well, now I'll play another one." He played
Same one.
Over the Waves all the time. I think that's the only one he knew how to play.
We used to go to a lot of house parties over at Dumrose's. Clara always liked to have parties with all her boys around, because all of them played the musical instrument,
Yeah.
and she'd clear out the whole house so we could dance.
yeah, huge kitchen,
Yep,
as I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
I was there too for
yeah,
one or two of those.
yeah.
But we must have been older then.
oh, yeah,
Well, I wasn't.
Well, I
Right.
mean, were we married then when we went
yeah,
to their party?
yeah,
I think them petered out when everybody got married.
Yeah.
That was before.
It was
Yeah.
before then. We must have been dating.
Well, let's tell them about Nelson and Cynthia's chivalry.
Do tell.
yeah.
Yeah, you tell
You
us.
tell them. All I know is Sandra didn't want to go to chivalry because she was a teacher.
No, because I was afraid that we
Get-
were going to
Get
Make-
arrested.
make them very unhappy. Wasn't I worried that Cynthia and Nelson would be angry with us?
No, I
coming?
don't
Well,
think so.
I think,
Well, and because I was a teacher and everybody
Right.
would know.
Yeah,
You know.
right.
and
I
think
didn't do
that-
a lot of things because I was a teacher.
But she's changed tremendously.
Yeah, I'm not a teacher anymore.
Tom was shooting off the shotgun down there and all
Yeah.
sneak.
Yeah,
We had so much fun with Tom and Marlene when he was living. Prevo. When we went out with them or anything, Tom had such a good sense of humor, and Marlene went right along with
Yeah,
it.
she was a character too.
So what's a chivalry? Talk about that. What was that?
Well, that's when you didn't have a wedding and they decided you should have a party for them anyway.
You had the wedding, but you didn't have the party afterwards.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And
they,
that means that you steal the wife until you produced a keg of beer.
right. Yeah.
If you didn't produce no beer, you didn't get your wife back.
It was
Nels didn't have any beer, but Ray did,
Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh. Nels
His
said he
father-in-law.
never really figured out where all that beer came from, but Ray would go in the basement and kept hauling beer, and of course I had to go home because
No, we went down to Bill's.
Huh?
Went down
he
to
had
Little
to go
Bill's
home
after that.
because of the
yeah, but I had to go home because she was
He
I
was
think she
married to a
was
teacher.
freshly. Oh, she didn't know she was pregnant yet, but She
That
was.
one.
She was, and she was in the, you know, the
The hormones.
hormones were not running right. And we're going home. Leona said, "You better go with her." I said, "Okay."
I'm curious about your sibling relationships. Like, did certain siblings hang out together or certain ones avoid each other? Like, what was it like in your sibling group? Who chummed with who and
Well, the older folks were, you know, I had to wait to come along. I was the last one. Well, he's next. All the other ones, like this guy here, they were all bigger and
Bagging around.
yeah.
Just all we've done is milk cows and throw shit out of the barn.
Yeah.
And that was our daily chore.
Hmm.
Milk the cows before school and come home and milk them again.
Well,
Yeah.
gave you something to do. That's what we had to do.
The good
too.
old days.
Yeah.
The girls hung out together.
Yeah, I think
The
they
older
did.
ones, and
I
Hilda
guess.
kind of was a misfit.
Yeah. She kind of wandered
She
around
was
with us
in
for a
between
while
or
there.
somehow or other.
She was a very good
Arnie and
friend
Walt
of my
and
sister's.
Irv, they kind of got it. Irv was kind of a lonesome guy. He was had a little bit of a syndrome, I think, because he used to try to beat the shit out of all of us at one time or other. Get madder than hell at us. Ooh. He'd get fine-tuned, you know, and he was always feisty. He'd come home that night, his shirt all tore to hell, all bloody. Hank Temrick or Ed Temrick and Daddy Dumrose would drag him in the house madder than hell. He's gonna go back and kill somebody, and he never done that. He always got the short end of the stick. Then Ma would baby him. Come on, Irv, you gotta go to bed. No, damn her, I'm going back there and gonna clean house.
Is that before or
He
after?
He was a banny rooster. He was.
That was after
I think he was
service.
about 5'6" or something.
That was his big problem because he was little than the rest of us. Him and Adeline were, I guess they were starters, that's why they were small. After that, Ma and Pa got into the rhythm things and we was all great big buckets.
so you milked cows and shoveled horse or dog or cow poop.
Manure.
What else did you have to do? What were your chores like?
Had to haul hay and hoe the garden and do everything.
Never a dull moment.
I was the worker. That's what the middle one
You
paid for.
You were, that's amazing. Jesus. You sit on your ass and ride on the farm equipment, sit on a dump rake and tool along. The rest of us ought to go back and stack hay
Pull the
behind.
weeds. And, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you all milk cows?
Yep,
Oh.
at one time or other.
I think my mom said she milked them. I don't know, is that true? I thought she said.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Everybody had a turn. As you got to that point, you milked cows.
Boy, am I glad we got rid of that before we had to do it right.
I milk cows
I never could at
at
home.
my house.
Dad,
Lou
you
and I
said-
ended up being the last ones milking cows. And we had a few squabbles out there just picking on each other as we something to do to kind of fill in.
He attempted to drown me with a bucket of milk one time.
Yeah.
Well, he
Threw it at
He
me.
kept punching.
Clarence
he'd
did
like
that?
he'd like to punch me, you know. He knew he could get away with it, so he'd keep hammering me on the shoulders. And finally, I got to the point I thought, I threw a pail of milk on him. That's a fresh milk too, and everything.
That was valuable. You shouldn't have done that.
And well, Ma never said a word.
I was gonna ask you, how'd you manage that when you came back to the house? But,
That was her sonny.
Well, she knew all the boys picked on me. They didn't want to pick on anybody their own size. They wanted somebody smaller. So Arnold did the same thing. He kept after me, and he doesn't remember it, but I have to tell you, we were in the old kitchen, and I don't know what the heck he was doing, but he kept bugging me and bugging me. And I
Not Arnie.
I took a hold of him, and he had lost his balance evidently because I swung him, and he went backwards, and his rear end right into the kitchen window.
Oh, you
Crash!
broke it? You broke it?
And
I don't know.
Ma never said a word about it. She knew he had it coming, and I thought I was really in trouble, but it just went pushed out, and here's this window all smashed. Got away with that one.
Yeah, Sonny got away with a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah. Sonny got away with a lot.
I
Sonny?
remember with my little red wagon, I was all playing with it, and Sonny came out and wanted it, and he started crying, and Ma come out and give Sonny that wagon. He can play with it for a while. Hell, I tipped it upside down, and she'd run off the steps. And I took off, opened the gate in the yard, and go to be held by the barn there, but the damn fence was too close. Hooked my pants on, and she caught me there, and she had a stick and beat the shit out of me. You leave Sonny play with that for a while.
Whose wagon was it?
Mine.
Oh.
Oh, that is hard. It's hard to give
This was your lesson for sharing.
Yeah.
Hard lesson.
Yes.
I don't remember that one, but
I do.
That's
I
because
thought-
it came your way.
I thought I had it made because if I got through that fence, I knew damn well Ma wasn't going to get me then. The goddamn if I didn't hook my pants on that fence. I
See?
went this way and I come right
See?
back again.
that's the same as me with that trip to the Wood
Yeah.
Bridge.
Did your sisters ever get in trouble, or did the brothers
No.
keep your parents busy?
No.
The sisters were always angels, pretty much.
They were all angels.
Yeah. No, I don't remember them getting spanked or anything like that. It was whatever they did was
Florence would lose her temper now and then.
yeah.
Something in the kitchen was going on between her and Walt one time, and the pantry was over here, and she got mad at him, and he run for the pantry. She threw a cup at him, hit the wall, and I was in the road. She gave me a swat and knocked me down. I hit my goddamn head on that oven door over, and knocked a big hole in my head here, bleeding like hell. I probably still got a bump there where that went in.
Suffered a lot.
Yes, he did.
I'm curious about, there's a question here about how the camp got started. When did the camp property get purchased, and how old were you when you built that?
Oh,
Ponderosa.
Pa had that hunting land there for years.
Traded it with the state.
Yeah,
The reason he
yeah.
got it, he was gonna use it for pasture for cattle.
Oh.
He had bought a piece of tax land down in Devil Lake or some darn place. Then he traded it with the state
Yeah,
for
to
that up
get
here.
up to the front. Used to have the cows in there.
Really?
So how did they get down there, the cows?
Well, we
Well, we just followed them down there. We
Every
used to go
day?
through
Yeah,
the woods and then
drive 'em.
down the road,
drive them
and
down
go
there.
at night and bring them back.
Yep.
And one incident happened that Florence and Ella Kirshner went to get them one time in the evening, and Emil Bay was coming along there, and they were bringing the cows down the road, and Emil seen them two young ladies bringing the cows back, so he got out and he was going to make time with them. Well, they let the cows go. They run like hell and got into Townsend's house over there, so he couldn't get at them. And Frank seen what was going on, so he walked down there and he got Emil the hell out of there and got him going down the road anyway.
So how long ago was the first camp built then?
It was that Hunt's cabin.
Oh,
we
it's
all
62,
That cabin that
62, 63,
yeah, somewhere around.
somewhere's in there.
you moved that cabin.
From
Yeah.
Michikiwas, that one?
Yeah, I remember that. I was in the picture by then.
Yeah, we went out partying that. We all went to Cedar Grove, as a matter of fact. Had a good time dancing and carrying on, and I never went to bed. I took you home, and we all went down to. we had jacked that thing up and put it on a trailer.
Yeah,
On
Eagles
Saturday,
had his
yeah.
trailer there.
And we got there around 4 in the morning or something like that, and slept for a little while in the car, and then everybody showed up, and Louis rode the top all the way, went right by the state police post, and he rode on the
Pushing up
peak.
the wires so they
push-
wouldn't hook on.
Yeah,
Had a board.
Oh my goodness.
hauled it in the woods, and
That's
That-
the cabin that burnt down?
yeah,
The
Basically
first
started-
little cabin,
Right.
yeah.
Well,
It was just big enough for them to put bunks in.
put a little bit of.
There was no kitchen or anything in
okay.
that.
Oh yes, there was. We had a grill
A grill?
in the front. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was,
Yeah. No.
it was real tiny when they moved
Yeah.
that out. And then they built onto it.
But plenty good for partying.
So that was
Yeah.
basically the bunker.
No, that
of the old
wasn't
place?
party.
They didn't party
Yeah.
there.
The bunker.
Well,
Yeah.
that wasn't big enough. It was just, it just had bunks in it, didn't it?
Bunks.
Was-
And we had a little piece on the back to put bunks
That's where
in.
the bunks was.
Yeah.
right.
And then we had this gas grill up inside, and
Yeah.
cooked in there. And then we moved it outside on the porch. And funny we didn't burn the thing down there. We had this grill out there, and man alive, there was a lot of stuff fried, and we could have very easily, with all the grease and stuff, burned the whole shebang down, and we got away with it for all the years until we moved it out to the cook shack.
When, when
That's
did the
part
Kindt
of it
parties
yet?
start then?
When what?
When did the Kindt family parties start out there? And I remember
Well, when we
going back.
made when we added the bigger room on there.
I think when they started working
Yeah.
out there, we took food out there quite often. And
But when we added on the fireplace and all that, that's when that business started.
Was Grandpa Kindt part of that? All of it?
no,
He was gone by then?
No,
62?
he was- he was.
Well, he sat and watched a little bit
Yeah,
while we.
he wasn't able to work
No.
at that point.
Actually, I think the camp did a lot to hold the family together, to put it together.
Yeah.
Because the boys went out every Sunday with the kids. The little kids were out with the guys all the time. And then at hunting season, the way Thanksgiving started is we used to have our own Thanksgivings at home, but then the guys wouldn't come home to eat. So Sandra and I decided we're going to camp and making supper, and that's how it started.
Yeah. It worked well.
Speaking of hunting, Louis said there's a story about the buck hanging in the entryway that Grandpa got. What's the story about that?
That was him and his brother shot that. They walked him to death almost. Started him down here, down past Schmansky's, and they shot him up there on Indian Reserve Road after 2 days walking him.
It was the only deer in the country, so they didn't have to worry about losing the track. So they came home and rested. Went back the next morning and took after him again. The poor guy was all worn out. Gus finally shot him. He
What
was-
about when you guys were hunting? Did you hunt together, or did you go by yourself, or did you go with Grandpa?
Well,
Yeah.
Most of us all started out with Pa
yeah,
in August.
In August?
or July.
July, that's what I heard, but yeah.
Well, sometimes them guys got together in July, but then when we went alone, it usually when the acorns were starting to pop. Walk all the way from here, way down there behind Schmansky's.
Wow. How old were you?
Well, I wasn't old enough to take a 22 until I was about 7 or 8, I don't think.
Yeah.
That damn thing was no good to start out with. Never could hit nothing with it. The bullets went out end over end, finally figured that out.
You should tell about Arnie's gift.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about. I was gonna tell a story about you. They were talking about what Christmases you remember. Well, I didn't know a thing about it, but you bought me a 22, that 22 automatic,
Oh, gosh, yeah.
and
75 years ago.
yeah, and everybody had these little black Kodak cameras, you know, and they were all excited, and I didn't know what was going on, but they had this box all wrapped up, and now everybody's standing around with the camera, so I'm opening it up. I have no idea what's going on. I open the box up, and here's this automatic 20 or semi-automatic 22. Holy man!
Which was like
Yeah.
winning the lotto.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and everybody's taking pictures, and the cameras don't work worth a crap.
Never did get a picture of it.
Well, I didn't care. Yeah, that was quite a deal.
What about my mom and Aunt Adeline hunting?
Well,
That wasn't an experience.
Yes, they did hunt out the back over here.
And
And it was colder than the devil too.
the animals had no fear that night.
And they thought they heard a rabbit squeal when they
Yeah.
were hunting.
Very well could have.
Yeah, well,
And they run into old Chris. He was
Yep.
hunting back there too. They probably wondered what the hell are these two females doing out here?
Yeah.
Oh,
Chasing deer were they? Hunting deer were they?
yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
sort of.
That was what the objective was anyway.
Yeah.
Did they both have guns?
yep.
And they knew how to use them?
I had gone out earlier, and I went out there and I walked out to the soup hole, or out in the middle of the bog. And they came out after that to make their stand back there on that ridge on Meggart's. And that's when they heard the rabbit squeal.
yeah,
I remember when they went snowshoeing, and that was Irma and Adeline.
Could be.
I think it was Irma and
Oh,
Adeline
man.
went snowshoeing. That was
I can hear
that was
Adeline.
when we were
Heard her
out
rabbit
here
squeal.
as
What?
we were married.
So,
yeah.
I can hear Adeline telling about the rabbit squealing.
There, see, you got a good memory, Arnold.
No, I just heard him say that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it wore out.
Did everybody go to school? Like all the way through school? All of your
No,
No, the older ones
No.
didn't.
Walt quit. I remember that. And the older ones, I don't know how far they went.
Adeline and Irv went to German church school with Weinlander. Leon is the first one that went to public school, but she started in church school too. But then they quit that and they started the Lakeview school.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
did
think
she
it-
go to high school?
No, she didn't. Florence was the first one at the high
Yeah,
school.
Florence made it all the way through.
So Florence, Clary, Arnie, and Louie
And
Graduated.
Hilda.
Hilda
And
graduated, yeah.
and
She went to County Norm too, didn't she?
Yep.
That,
Did you have any memorable teachers?
Pardon me?
Any memorable teachers?
Oh,
Yeah.
Clary did.
Mrs. Gerke. My favorite.
Mrs. Gerke.
She was a dandy.
His
She
favorite
was a
too.
good teacher, but she'd come walking down the aisles with a dang ruler, and then all of a sudden, pow, and nail you one just on general principles.
Yeah.
he
She
must
al-
have been
she-
bad.
She always hugged
Oh,
me.
she was a good
She likes-
teacher. You
She'd
just-
put her arm around
She
me.
likes
And,
Sonny.
Sonny
Yeah.
boy.
oh, it was a nice guy.
Yeah. Well, you were young when you
Somebody
had
had to love on you. You were
Yeah.
getting picked on all
Yeah.
the time.
Right.
Yeah.
How did you get to school?
Walk.
Walk.
Where was it?
Well, it's up
2
here.
miles to walk.
Yeah.
I don't think you went to Lakeview
Yeah. I went to the
Church.
told
church.
Oh,
Walked to where the stone church is. There was a parish house there. Well, they burned the Lakeview school down.
They did?
Arnie?
Yeah,
Arnie.
Yeah.
they did.
Herdman.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
Oh, just wanted to get rid of it.
No, they didn't.
I don't know. It burned.
Probably those big old furnaces.
Yeah.
I don't know. We all had
It
them.
caught
Lee
fire
School.
through the chimney because it caught a fire once before and they put it out, and
Yeah.
apparently they didn't fix it right, and after school was out, it caught a fire one time, and that time it burned her down.
Yeah. The
Did
chimney.
you burn more than one?
Well,
Yeah, the
absolutely.
parish hall burned down too. We were in
Wow.
it that time.
It was a bright, clear, sunny day, and we had come in. I don't know, it was from recess or what. I don't remember what time of the day it was. I think it was before noon, and you could hear this popping, and it sounded like it was hailing. And Mike Lang ran outside to see.
Oh, he was in the back end there where the library was.
Yeah.
In the kitchen part.
Okay.
Library.
And he went out and looked, and he came running in, and school's on fire. Oh, Chase. Everybody jumped up, and there was stuff flying in all directions. And the big boys were throwing desks out, and it was a nice fire, too. I can still see it. The cars all showed up, and I had to sit in the car and watch this thing burn. You know, and at that age, watching a fire like that almost feel like peeing your pants, you know. That was quite an affair. But there was a gang there. They rang the bell of the church, and rang and rang and rang, and finally the guys started showing up, and
It was too late.
that was the end of the school day, I'll say that.
Didn't have no fire trucks anyway.
No. There's nothing you could do. It was just, the thing just went.
What did you take for lunch to school?
Syrup sandwiches.
Syrup?
What kind? What kind?
Syrup.
Syrup?
Syrup.
Syrup or lard. That's
Lard.
all we had.
Lard and sugar and a little cinnamon on.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was popular. Sour cream? Didn't you have sour cream?
No.
Seems like we had sour cream and sugar.
Well, we
Norwegian.
used to have a sour cream piece of bread when they come home. Put it on
See?
a piece of bread and put salt and pepper on it. My God, that was just like mother love.
Yeah, that was
If
wonderful.
nothing else, I'd come home and get a piece of bread and smear it good with bacon grease or grease, whatever, and then put sugar and cinnamon on it.
Mhm.
Holy man, that was like,
That's a good flavor.
that was eating a steak.
Yeah.
It was,
Did Grandma
or else,
bake every day?
the what?
Did Grandma bake every day?
I don't know.
No, she didn't bake. She baked enough to last a while.
Yeah.
Had a
And-
big
Probably.
dish pan like that, and of course must have baked a dozen loaves.
Yeah,
In a wood stove?
Yep.
yeah.
My mother did too. The wood stove.
Went to,
Yikes.
if there was nothing going on and it was after deer season, usually there was some deer meat hanging out in the granary. And you come home, and, man, I was hungry as can be. And go out there and take your knife and carve off a nice slice of steak from this venison and bring it in and eat it or fry it. Oh, man, it was like,
Yeah.
That was after football.
no, that was before
That
that.
was before that, okay.
How
No,
did you get to football practice?
walked.
From here?
Well, Ron Lee picked me up. He had an old car, and we went down with that. But then after school started, we walked to the fairgrounds, and then from there, if Ron wasn't there, I hitchhiked home, walked home. What a waste of time. Ended up getting injured enough to finally quit. Bad knees and
Are you the only one that played school sports?
yeah, I think so. Probably I tried to play school sports. I didn't really do a good job of it. I just did enough to get hurt. Kind of screwed up my right knee, and the night my right knee got nailed pretty good from practice, I thought, well, I'll hitchhike home, and I never got a ride. Had to walk all the way home.
jeez.
Hobbled along. That was quite a ride, quite a walk.
Yeah.
All the way from town out here?
Yeah, from the fairgrounds.
I walked it lots of times.
I know, but you did it for fun.
So you would walk from town to do what?
from town to camp, or the farm here.
What would you do in town?
Pardon me?
What were you doing in town?
That's where I lived.
He's
he
He
talking
just
later-
walked
he
later
later
when he
did.
was
He's
walking all the
talking
time.
about later
Yeah,
when he
oh,
walked
wow.
out
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Yeah, I do remember those days. You would always call us after you got here and say, "Come and get me. Where are you? I'm out at the farm." Take off at 4 in the morning or whatever it was and walk from town out here.
Took me 2 hours to walk.
What about church? Did you all go?
Walk
you
to
go
church
to
too.
Yeah, Stone,
Yeah.
Stone Church your whole life? I mean,
The what?
where Trinity, Old Trinity
You
is
went to
there?
Trinity all the
Yeah.
time, didn't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, we went,
As a family or
I
hit
don't,
and miss?
I don't know.
Hit and miss.
We had to go because we were too young to not go.
Couldn't object.
Couldn't make it.
Go anyway.
Well, they were going to the
went to
service
Sunday
and
school
all
and-
that, those, they weren't all here.
Yeah, a lot of them were gone already. I know Ma and I went to German services quite a bit. I couldn't understand a word, but I enjoyed the choir. Old Trude and his German choir, he always blew his horn there to get the pitch, and then they'd go ah, and away they'd go, and they sounded pretty darn good.
You always said, "Ein Stimme,
Yeah.
So-
ein Stimme."
Did your mom and dad sing in the choir?
No,
No.
no.
Was your mother a good singer?
I
Could-
guess.
My
Could've
mom
been.
could sing real good.
Who?
My mother had a great voice.
Did she?
Well, that must be where you got your singing talent then.
I don't know. She,
Well, Hilda's a beautiful singer.
Everybody
All the
sang in
girls,
them
all the
days.
girls sang
Yeah.
well.
yeah, everybody sang.
oh yeah.
What do you think?
What do I
What
think?
about butchering?
Oh,
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. You talked about helping Grandma with the chickens,
Pardon me?
butchering chickens. You were talking about that the other day, helping Grandma butcher chickens.
Oh, just, I'd hold them, and she chopped her head off.
I don't know.
That simple. I hold them on the block and throw them, and they'd jump all over the yard while they were dying.
Yeah. Oh,
How
Louis
about-
used to do that. I remember that.
did you do the whole job, or
Hmm?
did you do the whole job, hold them and chop their heads off too?
No, I did that. Yeah,
Yeah, me
sometimes.
too. Yeah,
Throw the suckers off, and then buggers, it seemed like they always knew where you at. They'd come right back at you and squirt blood all over.
I remember all of that too. It seems to me I got to pick them up after they were all
yeah.
dead finally and take them to the house.
We had
Start defeathering.
a couple of geese that were just nice guys, you know. They wouldn't bother anybody. You walk out and they'd look at you and talk and carry on. One day Ma said, "Well, we're going to have those geese," and I went out, and they didn't even walk away. You know, you could pick them up, and the chopping block and the axe was there,
Dear.
and I put their head on the block, and I'd stretch their neck out, and they'd look at me they wouldn't even pull it back, and then whack, nothing. They were just, and that head with that big brown eye would look at me, and I felt like crap. Chopped the heads off both of them, and we had them. I'll never forget it, how they were so calm and
Accommodating.
yeah.
Did you enjoy that dinner?
I don't remember. Probably not.
How many years did you light candles on the Christmas tree for Christmas Eve and before you got
Oh.
electric lights?
Well, we didn't have electricity in the first place there. I don't remember. Just remember one year that we did it, that
What?
had candles on the Christmas tree.
Oh, that was a yearly affair always.
I know, but I don't only remember
Well,
one.
that could be. damn one had never burned up because it was all dried out and
Yeah.
them big candles on there. Ma'd light them all up. If one of them suckers would have took off, she'd have went, whoop. She had a bucket of water there and a rag, but I wouldn't have done any dang good.
What year did you get electricity?
It sure did look nice, though.
1951, I think.
51.
51?
Yeah.
Wow.
Talk about
We had it before.
exciting. Man alive, when I finally got everything wired, man, there was a switch, I don't know, that I could hardly hold back. I had to turn that baby on and off, on and off. when you're so used to reading with a lamp,
Yeah.
you know, we could read across the room with a lamp on the kitchen table. It was pretty exciting to have that
Oh,
bright
yeah.
light. Boy, oh boy!
Yeah.
Even in the barn, there was only a light bulb, but
It was a light.
It's great, huh?
When it's dark out, that light's pretty nice.
oh boy, yeah.
When did you get indoor plumbing?
Well, that's his project.
Did what?
Indoor
Indoor
plumbing.
plumbing.
Indoor plumbing? Well, it depends what you call indoor plumbing. We got a pump in the house. You and Walt punched that down in the basement. That was before we had electricity.
Yep. Pump was right here somewhere.
Talk about feeling
And
great,
then,
not having to go out
when
and
we
get
got
water.
electricity, you bought that first gold pump to get running water through the sink. That's all. There
it
was
like
no.
a hand pump in the thing?
That's what it was before that. And the other plumbing, I had that put in.
Was a
Back
Gould's
in-
pump.
I think when I was
He
in the
was in the
service,
army then. I had
Yeah.
that put in then. Other than that, we didn't have no indoor plumbing. We went outside to plumb.
59, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
Matter of fact, for a couple of years, Pa wouldn't use that indoor plumbing. He'd go out to the outside shack.
Hmm.
Except one time I come home from work and, geez, Pa ain't in the kitchen, and where the hell did he go? You know, and looking around, see the door was shut. Oh, smelled something in there. I opened it up, and there he's sitting puffing on his pipe. Hey, this ain't so bad after all. Sure beats that old outside job.
His pipe was the room deodorizer.
That's fun.
Vision.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dear.
First color television, that was in '65. That's the year Irv died, and it kind of keep him occupied a little bit better. Of course, then half of the pictures wasn't even in color, and he's sitting watching Bonanza or something. The next one, come on, black and white. Hey, fix this. Something's wrong with this goddamn thing. It's not showing right.
Showing right.
But he enjoyed wrestling, boxing. He could sit and watch that and just chuckle at them guys beating the hell out of each other.
That was the first, that's all you could get on television at first.
Yeah.
Boxing or wrestling. I
Did he
remember.
have a little bit of dementia or something when he was, before he died? Did he have some dementia a little bit? Or
No.
No.
no, he's just,
Fizzled
Ornery,
out.
just
He
ornery.
just wore out.
yeah.
As Spen says, it's his old age.
Mhm.
And, God damn it, he was a lot younger than we are.
Yeah, but they didn't have all the medication then either.
No.
Yeah, right.
I don't even think he took pills, did he?
Hmm?
He didn't even take any pills, did he?
Yes, he took Digitalis.
Oh, okay.
That
Ma
was all
had-
freebies.
Ma had
Spen's give
high
him all
blood
that.
pressure really bad, but
But that was
there was
not-
no medication
that
for
was
it either.
not
You know,
treated.
they tried to use a diet that would work, but oh, what the heck?
Yeah.
That's no fun.
Yeah.
I think if she'd have had blood pressure pills and stuff, she'd have
Live
lasted a
longer.
little longer. Yeah, but
She
How
had
old was
that
she?
problem years
62.
before.
62.
62.
Because she used to get extreme headaches long time ago. She'd get hurt so damn bad she'd go in bedroom, close the door, and lay in the dark. Then it would subside.
We got a name for them today, don't we?
She
I
had
forget
a-
what it is.
So what did she
Migraine.
have?
Migraine, yeah,
But-
migraine, yeah.
What did she finally die from?
cerebral hemorrhage.
Yeah,
Cerebral.
okay,
A
like a
massive
stroke.
stroke, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of bath
On a
time, what
Sunday
was
morning.
it like when you were kids? What was your bath
Go to
time?
church and sit down on
Oh.
the rocker and says I'm dying.
Well,
Before you had indoor
She died.
plumbing, what did you do?
Wash tub.
well, we took a bath in the fall and then in spring.
One in the, before Christmas, before we went to church for the
Yeah,
program.
probably.
The hell of Liz, Claire and I was the last ones in there. That damn water was so gray already, it was like mud. I'd jump in there and get scrubbed off anyway.
Did you just go oldest to youngest?
Yep.
Yup.
So the older
So-
ones were the lucky ones.
so
got
I-
the
They
clean
were.
water.
So I ended up dirtier than I was before I went. You laugh at that, it's the truth.
How big it was the bathtub? Was that
Just
copper
a
one?
wash tub.
It's a round
Round
wash
wash
tub.
tub.
Oh, okay.
I had that
Galvanized.
too at the farm.
That must have been hard to fit into, wasn't it?
Well, we weren't very big then.
Yeah,
Made it work.
Right
Boy.
there in front of the kitchen stove.
probably wasn't real hot water by the time you got in there, Claire.
No, I'll tell you, it had a lot of scum on it. I remember we had, in the summertime, they'd have the wash tub outside here in the front yard. And you'd go out there and look at that water, phew. Boy, that was tough getting in there to get but you got it scrubbed. And then when we had a nice thunderstorm and a good rain, when we got a little older, that there was an eave right here, where probably right where that one is, somewhere right there.
Yeah.
You get a good thunderstorm and a good rain, the best thing to do would be run out there and stand where that water came down, and you could wash away, and it was the best feeling.
Yeah, I can see that.
All clean water.
Yeah, no scum on that stuff, huh?
No.
Better than 9 kids taking a bath in the same water.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
boy. After
Oh, yeah.
After a few good rains out in the pasture here, there was, I think they were from trees a long time ago that had tipped over. You know how the roots tip up? And then there was a kind of a hole, and it was all grass around it. And after a good rain, these holes would be full of water. You could take a bar of soap and run out there and jump in one of them and wash up. You'd be
Just like a bathtub.
bathtub, yeah, the water was nice, it was, well, compared to pump water. It worked great.
Yeah.
What about weddings? What were your weddings like?
Well, you want to know the whole story?
No. We don't want to know the whole story. We don't want to know the whole story, do we?
Florence and Ike was the first ones.
Yeah, well, that one we can tell about.
And then was Leon and Bill.
Yeah,
That's when the fire burned the bog here.
Oh, on their wedding night?
the day
The
before.
day- Yeah.
Before their
I
wedding.
never seen that.
Can you imagine?
So did they have a dinner at the church or was
No,
it here?
They had it here.
Had
Ma and Esther cooked up. Florence and Hank didn't have hers here. They had it over at, what the hell did they call that, right on Hubbard Lake Road?
Sneak Hall?
Hmm?
Sneak Hall?
No, it wasn't the hall, it was a restaurant.
Oh.
Just going down the dip there before you got to the river.
Oh, I don't recall.
Probably before
Restaurant
your
at all.
time.
You mean right by Grandma Ferguson's?
No. It's on,
Oh, over there on,
it was right next to where that guy had
yeah,
that
where
greenhouse. thing
Jeannie
there.
and George had their,
Nursery.
What the heck?
Oh, okay, I remember that
What the heck
now.
It was
Yeah,
a restaurant over
yeah,
there.
I remember that.
They had the dinner over there. But when Bill and Bill got married, they had it over here. Ma and Esther cooked that up.
who had that party up there by, on Necklace, or by St. Catherine's and that all? Wasn't that,
St. Gerald's Hall.
That's where that's where the reception was.
yeah,
built.
okay, yeah, that's what I
No,
thought.
Nicholson Hill
Reception
Hall,
was
isn't
there.
it?
That's where my brother
Do they have
and sister-in-law were
bands or play
married.
music? Or,
Yep,
They dance their full heads off all the time.
you know?
So who was
Remember-
next?
Remember the next day,
Who was after?
they had, Avo had his trailer, and when they had barrels of beer or whatever was left, it was out here in the yard. And I think almost everybody that was at the wedding was here, not that many, but they had a great time out here drinking beer and raising hell and having a good time.
So it was like a whole wedding weekend.
Yeah, it was
that
kinda
made
like
it
that. Next,
Next would be
Hilda,
Hilda.
Hilda,
didn't have no beer there.
yeah. Well,
It was at the church, cause I
Yeah.
have a wedding
Yeah.
picture, it looks like it's at the
That
church
was
for
at
the
Trinity,
dinner,
yeah.
yeah.
some of the boys had stuff
Oh,
out in
excuse
the
me.
car. Henry and Irv and Pa,
Gertrude, Uncle Gus.
yeah, they'd all go out. But we
That's
had
where we
this,
learned that from.
Marie was in that
Yeah.
wedding.
yeah, but, I don't, were you there? Maybe,
Hilda's wedding?
I
You were
just
there.
remember, yeah, I think,
You were there taking pictures.
Oh, there you go.
okay.
So
Somebody helped you out though, cause you was having a little difficulty trying to snap a picture. And I don't recall who that was.
Boy, you have a memory. Whoa,
he had an eye on you too.
no, we didn't. He was-
So who is after Hilda?
Louis and
You.
us. You two. No, Arnie.
No, no,
Well, Arnie had a good wedding too. We went up to Sheboygan.
I know,
Yeah.
but was it after yours or
oh,
before?
certainly, it was just before ours.
Arnie?
His
It
was
was in July.
63, mine was 62, and
Yeah,
yours
ours was
was,
63, okay. Yours was July,
what day did you get married?
Hell, I don't know, I forgot.
July 14th.
14th,
13th. July
14th.
13th.
13th.
July?
July 13th.
Oh, okay.
I always get mixed up between the wedding and
Mike's
Mike's
birthday,
birthday,
Yeah, they're a day.
a year
apart.
later.
and Elena now, his birthday.
Well, they had
There-
it planned,
there
but
was
they
just-
couldn't tell me,
just
because
me
they
and-
figured I'd tell, which I would have.
Irma and I and Pastor Monty.
And Louis and Linda.
Lily and Linda were
Linda,
there,
yeah,
yeah.
right, you were there, that's
Yeah.
right.
Why did you elope?
Huh?
Why did you elope?
Why?
Was there a reason?
Sounded like the best way to go without big hassle.
Cheaper.
Got married and went out to dinner and they went home and.
And I went to church Sunday morning, told everybody you got married.
And I just,
She could finally talk.
Yeah,
went
and that was
to-
so hard to keep a secret.
we went to Traverse City and visited, Jim Kindt.
Kids, okay.
Yeah,
They have a chivalry then?
No, but we should have.
Oh, Ben Witt wanted to chivalry me, I said, get the hell out of here. Cut that crap out, I don't need that. I was bad enough getting married and another chivalry, holy cow.
well, I remember their wedding.
Yes, you do. You should. You came back here after the reception and made coffee and partied.
Well, Irma and I drank coffee royals. I
Yes.
remember that. That was my introduction to coffee royals. We
I
both
know you
thought
were
they
sitting on
pretty
my
good.
kitchen table. I think there's pictures of that.
Oh dear, I don't remember
And
that.
Clarence is going around and looking in the bedroom window.
trying to get the window open. It's hard work.
Grandpa's sleeping
found out
outside
they
our
were
bedroom,
home.
and Adeline too. Grandpa was in the bedroom, and Adeline was outside our bedroom door.
I seem to remember the police being involved in someone's wedding.
Oh.
Sandy's, Sandy's. It's Louis and I.
With this one.
That's right. I was driving home from the reception because he was a little bit under the weather. So I don't even know what road we came down. I probably couldn't find it now. Anyway, the cops stopped us.
No, we were stopped because I was ill.
Oh, yes.
They just pulled up
Yeah,
behind
you
us.
Oh,
had
okay,
already,
all
he
right,
had
all
already
right.
gotten sick.
Anyway, the cop pushed him in the car so I could take him home, and he says, "Are you the bride?"
The groom.
He thought you were the
He
bride.
thought I was the bride.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because he had his clothes in the back. He just had, still had his tuxedo on, I think.
Because he was the best man
Yeah.
for our wedding. He was the best man, all
And then
right.
drove home and he slept in the car and I left him in the car all night.
You did the best you could.
Yeah.
There were generous cops that night.
Yeah. Tell whose wedding was that? Was that the same wedding that
Yeah.
Dale Dumrose? No.
Yeah. Dale, yeah.
Dale Dumrose?
He was driving down Spruce Road, or Emil Ortley was.
Yeah, right.
It was
And-
Emil Ortley.
Emil Ortley been his wife, and this guy, he thought it was Dale Dumrose coming behind him, and he every time the car would try to pass, well, he'd pull her out to the center of the road so he couldn't pass. And finally, it got to the point where the cop turned on the
Like,
blinker. Oh,
whoops.
shit. Too late now. Well, he let him go home though without a ticket.
No,
Yeah.
we made Bertha drive.
Oh, he made yeah. Well, let him go home.
Yeah,
though.
we didn't give him a ticket.
In those days, can you imagine?
Yeah.
I mean,
I take your car, your wife, the
yeah,
whole shooting works, and there you be.
today.
But weddings were really fun in the old days. I even consider us the old days.
And they were gravel roads in the country, so apparently that gave them a little leeway.
I think our wedding
Okay.
cost about $500, I think.
Wow.
I don't know what my wedding cost. Do you?
No.
Did you make your wedding dresses or buy them?
No, I
Bought
bought
'em.
mine.
I bought mine at Three Sisters and it cost $50. And I borrowed the veil.
I bought mine down at that place in Bay City where every bride in the
Country goes.
northeast Michigan went.
I bet it was more than $50 though.
Probably not much more. I still have it.
Still fits.
I do too.
Oh, no, it doesn't. I weighed 114 pounds when I was married. How can you believe
We
it?
all did.
I know.
That's that's where that saying came from. The nearer the bone, the sweeter the meat.
Oh, yeah.
14 pounds.
I lost weight before my wedding. I
Well,
think I was really worried about what I was getting into.
I know. No need.
No need.
But you lasted this long, what
Yeah.
is 58 years?
58 years.
59, they must be pretty good to us.
Oh,
Darn right.
How long have you been married?
Hmm?
How long have you been married?
59 years.
And you're
58.
so. What would you want future generations of the Kindt family that watch this? What would you want them to know about your life on the farm, and what nuggets of wisdom do you have for them?
Do what we did.
Simple life.
Nuggets of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Throw them goddamn cell phones away and learn how to talk or carry on a conversation without.
Yay! I agree.
There you go.
I'll go with that.
He's ready to throw his about every other week. Anyway, if he didn't have these relatives who could take care of it, he would definitely throw it out.
That's smarter than I am.
I think kids need to make the commitment to their whole family that they
Family life.
make the connection. No excuses.
Okay.
And that's why these kids have stayed together so long. Everybody always comes to the camps, always. I think the camp did it really.
Oh,
What do you
A lot
think?
of fun to camp.
Well, we did a lot of things together over the years. We,
oh yeah. Yeah, I suppose. Helped. But
what?
It's the good stuff you got inside you that does that.
That's true, that's true.
We could probably do about 10 sequels to this with all the stories.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
There's
Oh.
probably more.
Many more. But
Oh, I still got a lot of good stories, but I think that's pretty much enough.